Hello my beautiful nerds. Let's talk some lightsaber fights. There's a lot of them in the Star Wars universe. In fact, it feels like Disney is afraid to make a Star Wars movie without a lightsaber in it. But you know why? Because they're fucking cool, that's why. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about all my favorite ones. That is lightsaber versus lightsaber fights. So unfortunately I'm excluding this fight. This one's a cool one too. And I'm talking about the cartoons and the movies. Alright, that's enough foreplay, let's get it on. Number 10, AHSOKA vs. VADER, Star Wars Rebels. There aren't a lot of great moments in Rebels, but this lightsaber duel not only has good choreography, it's moving in a way that you don't expect. AHSOKA has been on the run for years and hasn't come face to face with Anakin since he got his new rap name. She looked up to him like a big brother, and she didn't even really get a chance to say goodbye the last time they saw each other. They fight a little bit, and that's cool, but this moment is probably the most touching in all of Star Wars Rebels.
AHSOKA. AHSOKA.
Anakin.
Number 9, Luke vs. Vader, Return of the Jedi. This one is fun to watch, mainly because of the emotional roller coaster Luke goes on. First he's all pissed and he wants to kill the Emperor. Then he's like, dude, I'm not gonna go all out on you because you're my dad, but don't fuck with me. Then after Vader brings up Leia, Luke takes the kid gloves off. He stops himself before he makes a huge mistake. Unfortunately, it won't be the last time. And he gives his dad a shot at redemption. Number 8, Obi-Wan vs. Anakin, Revenge of the Sith. After getting warmed up with a little baby murdering, Anakin squares up with Obi-Wan after he drops his debut album. The choreography in the prequels are very intricate, but this scene has some moments that are hilariously weird. It almost feels like the fight from Blazing Saddles or Princess Bride at times, just because it keeps getting bigger and bigger in like the most ridiculous ways. Granted, those are great fights, but it's also supposed to be funny. But silly moments and dumb dialogue aside,
only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Obi-Wan, that's an absolute. For the most part, it looks fucking cool, and you know, they're brothers in arms. Brothers shouldn't fight.
Brothers gotta hug.
Number 7, Obi-Wan vs. MAUL, Rebels. This fight is pretty short. This one is not so much about the style of the fight as it is about what it means to the characters involved. Way back in The Phantom Menace, MAUL killed Obi-Wan's master, and then Obi-Wan sliced MAUL in half and threw him down a big old hole. But as we know in Star Wars, if you fall down a big hole, you're probably fine. They have a long back and forth through the years where MAUL kind of torments Obi-Wan. But here, chronologically a few years before A New Hope, MAUL is tricked tirelessly through the desert so he can find and kill Obi-Wan, cause that's really all he has to live for anymore. They have a long talk that kind of shows how much the two characters have grown, and then when the fight starts, MAUL tries to hit Ben with the same move that he killed Qui-Gon with. But Ben recognizes it, counters, and it's all over. And Ben also recognizes that MAUL is a very troubled character, so even though MAUL's been just the worst, Ben still doesn't take any joy in killing him. Number 6, Anakin and Obi-Wan vs. Dooku, Revenge of the Sith. Attack of the Clones is probably my least favorite Star Wars movie. It's boring as shit, and just when you think you're gonna get a fun lightsaber fight, it's still fucking boring. Ben and Anakin vs. Dooku Part 2 is pretty dope though. The choreography is pretty sick without it being over stylized, and I also like how the music drops out. Makes it feel like the stakes are really high and something fucked up is about to happen. And of course, something fucked up does happen. Palpatine says this.
Do it, 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 do it.
Number 5, Mace vs. Palpatine, Revenge of the Sith.
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Jesus, oh man!
One of the things that makes this fight so cool is that Mace rolls up with a gang of Jedi to take Palps into custody. But he cuts through them all in like a second. Mace handles them pretty well. We don't get to see him fight much in the movie, so it was cool seeing him link sabers with the baddest of the bad. It's not amazing, but it's not the worst lightsaber fight from the prequels. She's facial expressions are fucking weird, but now knowing that the whole movie's bad, it's just hilarious to watch. And we only get like 2 weird CGI flips. Number 4, AHSOKA vs. MAUL, Clone Wars. This is definitely the best fight scene in all the animated shows. The fight itself looks very fluid because they use motion capture and they do some pretty dope shit in this fight. But it's also interesting because of the relationship between AHSOKA and MAUL. I already talked about this a little bit in my Clone Wars review, but they're both force sensitive and they've both been betrayed by their bosses, so in a different world they would work together. But AHSOKA is still honorable and MAUL is still selfish, so they're still on opposite sides. It's just interesting to see that these two characters who kind of started out as pawns for their respective orders are still natural enemies without their bosses telling them what to fight for. Finn and Rey versus Kylo, The Force Awakens.
One of the very early things that we talked about wanting to do was have a lightsaber fight at night in the snow. I did think that it would be a beautiful thing to do.
This is my favorite lightsaber fight from the sequel trilogy. Emotions are flying all over the place in this fight. Finn is super pissed because Kylo just knocked out his buddy. I mean, he really likes Rey.
You must have 1,000 questions.
Where's Rey?
Where's Rey?
I'm just here to get Rey.
Rey.
Rey!
So he picks up a lightsaber. Now we've already seen that he's trained with a lightsaber, but we also know that he's not great at it. So instead of running away like he probably should, he stands and fights. I mean, there are real stakes. In Rebels, a rookie can take on 2 Sith Lords, even though Ezra should probably be getting sliced up like Finn does. Kylo, on the other hand, just got shot, and he's bleeding a whole lot. But he's fueled with hatred, because he's pretty mad at Finn for being a traitor! And he also wants his granddaddy's laser sword back. And this moment is also very, very cool. It reminds me of this moment in Empire. I remember the first time I saw this as a kid thinking, what the fuck, he can do that? And I had the same happy feels when it happened here. Number 2, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul, The Phantom Menace. So most people hate this movie, but this fight scene is undeniably good. This is our first time seeing a 3-way lightsaber fight, and the choreography is fantastic. The green, blue, and red look gorgeous as they crash into each other, and Ray Park is a fucking problem with that saber. The confrontation is already thrilling, but after Qui-Gon gets killed, it gets noticeably ramped up. Obi-Wan fights with a rage and viciousness he didn't have earlier. Ewan McGregor definitely showed up to earn his paycheck in this scene, and this second half is the cherry on top that really pushes it to another level. Number 1, Luke versus Vader, Empire Strikes Back. This fight scene fucks. Everything about this scene is great. I mean, everyone remembers the most popular thing about this fight. But there's so much more that makes this scene spectacular. First off, director Irvin Kershner and crew use color and smoke and matte paintings beautifully in this scene. Everything looks so amazing before a lightsaber is even drawn. And then the travel from set piece to set piece feels natural and looks magnificent. Also, the choreography is surprisingly good. It's not a hot take to say that there's some pretty bad fight choreography in the original trilogy. I mean, that's why I'm not a huge fan of the fight in Return of the Jedi. Emotionally, it's very moving, but they're kind of just hacking away at each other. And this part always makes me laugh a bit. The choreography in the Empire fight is actually pretty cool. The fighting itself is creative. We get to see Luke do this thing we didn't know Jedi could do. Vader uses the Force to attack Luke while he's trying to duel him with the lightsaber, and the lightsabers just look cool as fuck. I'm not gonna get into how they do the effect. The Corridor crew explains it way better than I could anyway. I'll leave there's a link right here. But it's really impressive. Even though Luke doesn't know that Vader is his dad yet, in the fight, the emotional stakes are still really, really high. Vader is still responsible for the death of Luke's aunt and uncle, and also killed his best friend right in front of him. On top of that, Yoda and Obi-Wan straight up said, if you fight this dude, he's gonna fucking kill you, and your friends are probably gonna die. And Luke is like, if I don't go, my friends are definitely gonna die. And that's just the stuff we know as an audience. There's also the fact that Vader is beating the shit out of his son. To put it very lightly, this is a fucked up family situation, and this is them at the very height of their dysfunction. I also love how Vader is kind of taking it easy on him till Luke hits him in the arm, and then he's like, ah, you fucking dick. This scene is far and away the best lightsaber duel, in my opinion. It's moving, it's exciting, it's surprising, and it just looks fucking sick. A lot of people prefer the fight choreography from the prequels, but this duel holds a special place in my heart, and every time I watch this scene, it is just as thrilling as the first time. At least when I'm really fucking high. Okay, that's it for today. Check you guys later. Stay safe, my younglings, and may the Force be with you.